So today I'm talking about my favorite product around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's chitlins. I'm going to talk to you about how I clean them, how I cook them, and finally about how I eat them. And then I'm going to tell you what my secret is to cleaning them quickly and freezing them and having them come out with the same texture. So before I do anything, I go to the grocery store and I pick up my favorite chitlins, Uncle Lou's Chitlins. Which is made by this guy, well, not made by, but manufactured by this guy named Rick. His family owned Lewis Meats. They used to be located in Walnut Hills, which is a community in Cincinnati, Ohio. And, you know, it was family oriented. Everybody knew Lewis. So when they closed, everybody was upset. However, the one thing that, you know, we kind of benefited from his closing is that he still sold his chitlins, which were very good. I'll explain to you why. So cleaning chitlins is a very difficult job. Everybody hates to do it. And it used to take me 3 hours. But now, using Uncle Lou's Chitlins, it only takes me an hour. And here's what I do. His chitlins are very clean. Let's be honest, no chitlins are 100%. You always have to clean the chitlins. You always have to do something. You always have to separate the membrane. To make that job easier, I defrost my chitlins, put them in the sink, fill it with water, warm water, and fill it with sea salt. As you can see, I have Morton sea salt. That's what I use. I let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. What this does, one, is it kills about 50% of the germs and about 50% of the odor, believe it or not. And it also makes the membrane easier to separate from the chitlin. That used to be the hardest and the longest part of cleaning chitlins. It used to take like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now it takes me about 25 minutes, maybe to 35 minutes to separate it. Once I have the membrane separated, I rinse the chitlins in baking soda. And then I let them sit there for another 5 to 10 minutes. After that, I rinse them one final time in apple cider vinegar. And I let them sit for no longer than 5 minutes because I don't want my chitlins to taste like vinegar. So after I've let them soak in vinegar, then I rinse them and look to see if the water comes clear. If the water comes clear, then I parboil my chitlins. And what that is I put them in a big silver chef's pan. I have one of those chef's pots that's silver on my flat top stove. See? Ha. Anyway, I put them in there and I boil them for about 10 minutes. Now, what this does is it'll reveal to me if I've missed any membrane or if I've missed any dirt on the chitlins. Once you boil them, pre-boil them, you should see a white foam rise to the top. If you haven't cleaned the chitlin well, you'll see some yellow spots or some dark spots, and that's when you know you need to go back through your chitlins. But if you've done a good job, you'll just have white foam. You can rinse it. Once I pour off the parboil and rinse it one final time, then I add my seasoning. I put in the chitlins, I put in the onions, I put in the bay leaves, I put in garlic. I put in an onion to cut down on any remaining smell. At this point, though, I will say if you've done a good job, you shouldn't smell anything. But just in case, because, you know, nothing is 100%. Throw the onion in there. I promise you, you won't have an odor stinking up your house, and your chitlins will have a great flavor. So at this point, I've probably spent about an hour with the chitlins, which is severely decreased from when it used to take 3 hours. I parboiled them for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, made sure that they're clean and that the foam runs white. So after I season them, I boil my chitlins until tender, and I boil them for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. After they're done, there are two things that I do. If it's the night before Thanksgiving, then I put them in the refrigerator. If it's like a week before Christmas, which is when I usually clean my chitlins, then I freeze them and put them in the freezer. But before that, between you and me, I usually try them just to make sure that they're good. And this is the part that I need to tell you. Uncle Lou's chitlins are the best. Not only are they clean and make your job to clean them easier, they're also very tender when cooked properly. But this is even better. So if I've tasted them and I'm freezing them a week before Christmas, I'll put them in my freezer. When I take them out, and this is very important, this is what separates his product from everybody else's. That once you defrost them, the chitlins do not shred. And if you are a chitlin connoisseur or someone who's had chitlins before, you know sometimes when you freeze them, the chitlin can lose its consistency and it will shred when you heat it up. His chitlins do not do that. They're still whole. They're still savory. They're still moist. They don't taste like rubber. Sometimes you have chitlins that you've cooked that they taste like rubber, or when you defrost them, they just shred almost like like plastic, like they just shred. They don't hold their shape. When you defrost Uncle Lou's chitlins, they do retain their shape and they retain their flavor after you have frozen them for a week. And there it is in a nutshell. That's why I love Uncle Lou's chitlins. Not only was I familiar with the family and the family store, but I've become very familiar with his products. And I was, we were all kind of hurt when the store closed. So the fact that we still have access to his product is great. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I used to have a cooking class, but folk get busy. They have kids and they can't do it anymore. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Uncle Lou's chitlins to tell you I love them, because they're easy to clean, they hold their shape after you freeze them, and they taste great. Now, right before I leave, I just want to tell you, how do I eat them? I eat them by themselves, or I eat them with a whole Thanksgiving or Christmas spread. But you put a little salt on her, put some Frank's Red Hot Turkey sauce, and they're wonderful. Or you can just eat them plain. I like my hot sauce. I like my salt, personally. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to zoom in on the bag so you can see what I mean. Uncle Lou's chitlin, super clean. Believe it or not, just try it. You will find that it's easy to clean. You don't have to do 3 hours. Your house won't smell horrible. And most importantly, when you defrost them, they're going to retain their shape and retain their flavor. Have a great day. Happy holidays.